All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Director Wood.
Here.
Director Costa.
Here.
Director Weber.
Present.
Director Stark.
Here.
Director Clark.
Present.
Director Jones.
Here.
Thank you. For the record, the following directors are absent this evening: Director Gould, Director Sailors, and Director Rice, and they let us know that beforehand. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Wood, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
Yes.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director. All right, Metro Cable announcement. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District is recorded. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the Local Government Affairs Channel on Comcast and DirecTV Uverse cable systems. All information on when and where will be found in the agenda packet. All right, with that, we will go to public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district's jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda.
I have no speaker cards. Is there anyone in the room wishing to make a public comment? If you're on Zoom, you may use the raise your hand feature. No response. No public comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That brings us to the consent items. Any questions from the board?
Mr. Chair, I'd move the consent.
And I'll second.
We have a first from Director Wood and a second from Director Jones. Roll call, please.
Yes, Director Wood.
Aye.
Director Stark.
Aye.
Director Clark.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Weber.
Aye.
And President Costa.
Aye,
Thank you. Motion passes. The consent calendar is adopted.
thank you. That brings us to our action item. So it's adopt a resolution, approval of the Metro Fire 2026-2031 strategic plan. And we have our Chief Development Officer, Jeff Fry. Good evening.
I have good news. Taking 7 months and over 30 pages to produce a document also produces short presentations. So we should get through this one pretty quickly tonight. So tonight I'm here to give you an update on the board strategic plan that we had started work on in December. And essentially the action or the request tonight is to adopt a resolution recognizing that the intent that was expressed in that workshop is captured in this document. Not going to go too much in the details, just tell you the work that we've been doing behind the scenes and what next looks like. So the takeaway for me from the December meeting was to produce a document that essentially captured what the discussion was that day. We have broken that up really into 5 sections. The majority of the conversation back in December was focused on the organizational identity, the operating assessment. At that meeting, we called it the SWOT analysis, if you recall, the strategic goal development, and then what implementation ultimately would look like. The 5th component that I was really wanted to add for the benefit of the board and for staff is the planning framework. Because in that meeting, we had talked a lot about how do we get to a better organization and what is the work that we had already been doing that the board was not aware of. So I wanted to very specifically capture what planning looks like. How do we allow the board to have better awareness of what we're doing and how we're doing it? And then how do we, I'll use Director Weber's, how do we turn this into a comment? How do we turn this into a Lego set that so it's always repeatable when we do this work over and over? So that was what I thought was very important. All of that work is now captured in this document and will be used as we continue to work in the strategic plan over and over, bringing back the quarterly updates or whatever we're working on. So as we were developing the board strategic plan, we were also working with the executive committee to develop the first strategy. The reason why we did this is we wanted to show what this process would look like in whole. It did produce some confusion, but I think now that we have the draft board strategic plan and a draft strategy that's now been included in the document. You can kind of see how this information is going to be built and disseminated to the board. And again, we will continue to bring back as we work on strategic planning, develop projects, implement them. We will continuously bring this document back to the board for awareness and approval. So this says the strengthen and expand communication strategy is fully developed and ready to implement. That's not quite true. I would tell you it's about 70%, but it was good enough for us to get moving. We are working behind the scenes, implementing the strategy and tactics, and continuing to develop the additional components of that strategy. As we continue to develop them, we will bring them back to executive committee and then ultimately the full board. And that'll be that routine process that we're describing here. So the structured development phase is well documented in the board strategic plan. It is a 5-step process that the board had decided on in the December meeting, where there is a check-in, a recheck-in. We've refined the scope. It gets blessed by executive committee. Then it gets routed to full board for awareness and obviously adoption. So we've done it with one goal. As of today, we have now introduced the next goal, which is going to be service delivery, and we will recreate that process. So these are the deeper dive in what the strategy development looks like. I've named, I call them rules, and I've named them after the directors on the executive committee. The facilitated working sessions is the Director Weber rule. Basically say our subject matters are internal. Everybody gets to be a part of this process. We want all of that information when we're directing the future of the district. The second is the Director Rice rule, which is at some point in time, those opinions come together. We have to produce a fact statement about how this organization is going to move forward. And finally, the strategy development is the new direction under the executive committee, which is the right thing to do, is to bring everyone together, deliberate it at that level, agree on it, and then move it to the full board for consideration. So I had produced this proposed calendar 5 or 6 weeks ago. It's already changed, and it will. We are not moving on. Our next goal is not care for our people. It's actually service delivery. And the reason why it's service delivery is because all the strategic level decisions ultimately come from the level of service we provide. So as we think about what staffing and organizational changes and resources we have, and then what budget looks like, and all that has to be communicated, it does really start with service delivery. So again, we've introduced that topic tonight with the executive committee, and we will spend the next several meetings working through what those strategies look like. So here are the anticipated questions. If you look at the document itself, it does look incomplete. That is very intentional. This is going to be a living document. We will continue to evolve and expand how we think about what the next version of Metro Fire is. We will always bring that back to executive committee, then to the full board. So if we're doing this right, this should be a quarterly update or something similar to the board, where we're constantly adding information and then providing you with metrics of the work that we are doing and whether that work is complete or ongoing. So these questions basically say, how does this work get done? What is the future of the document? The answer to all of it is essentially what I've repeated many times tonight. We bring it to executive committee. We work through the issues. We agree on the solution statement. We hand that solution statement to staff to work on. We bring it to the full board for awareness. So that is my presentation. I have forwarded you the draft strategic plan under separate cover, allow you time to review. Again, our action tonight is simply to pass a resolution saying the document that we have produced reflects your intention in the December workshop, and then allow us to continue to move forward.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Any questions from the board?
No, sir. No, sir.
No questions. All right. So this is an action item to adopt the resolution to approval of the Metro Fire 2026-2031 strategic plan.
Mr. Chair, I so move the resolution.
I'll second.
Right. First by Director Jones, second by Director Wood. Roll call, please.
Yes, Director Wood,
Aye.
Director Stark,
Aye.
Director Clark,
Aye.
Director Jones,
Aye.
Director Weber,
Aye.
President Costa.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Great work, Jeff and team. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a comment, please.
Yes,
That to say thank you to all the staff and everyone who's contributed to this. It's been years where we've been identifying goals and necessities and things that need to be completed. And it's heartening to have this document. It's behind all the work we do with the strategic plan, standards of cover, strategic plan, et cetera. This is these are tremendous building blocks to help us move forward. And it's not taken lightly by me nor anyone here, I don't think, that this has been a heck of a lift. Over time, effort, and professional work. So thank you very much, staff.
Thank you, Director. And again, thank you, team. All right. Next, we'll go to reports. So President's report. I would just like to report out to my colleagues. So after the last board meeting, we did receive quite a bit of feedback. And one of those was around kind of leadership per se. And so I suggested that a board member help bring together labor management to have a conversation. So we started that process. So we're trying to narrow down a date. So I'll be taking the lead on behalf of the board, I think, as we discussed. As we try to get to a date, I think there's no surprise that I think we're trying to figure out how best to bring both sides together. So I provided some feedback to the team with an agenda. We've identified who from each side will be representing the team to bring the team together. We've got a couple dates out there we're working off of. One of the things we're still waiting on is confirmation on the date and then confirmation on the topics of discussion. And so what I asked for was no more than 5, but more specific to 3. We need to get through these items. Clearly, we've heard a lot. So we were going to capture those items. We will have our meeting, and then we will report it back out to the board how that went, and we will track against those items. So more to come. I just wanted to close the loop that is happening. So it'll take a little bit of time to get that on the schedule, and then we'll keep you apprised. All right. That's it for my report. With that, we'll go to the fire chief's report. Deputy Chief Wagaman.
Thank you, and good evening, Deputy Chief of Operations Tyler Wagaman, filling in for the Fire Chief this evening. Relatively short report. Both Fire Chief House, Deputy Chief Mitchell, Deputy Chief Fiorica, and Captain Ellis are attending the IFC Fire Rescue International Conference in Kansas. The FRI conference offers leadership development, operational best practices, and has the latest in innovations with respect to emergency response. On the operations front, we are now starting to see an uptick in wildland fires throughout the state of California, which again is not uncommon for this time of the year. Currently, we have our OES Type 3 engine assigned to the bug incident in Lassen County. One of our battalion chiefs, as well as Copter 3, are assigned to the timber incident in Monterey County. And several members, which are part of the Sacramento Regional Incident Management Team, have been assigned to the Talbot incident near Forest Hill. And I'm happy to report that all of our members have checked in and are doing well at this time. And that concludes my report, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions? All right, no question. Thank you, Chief. That will move us to Firefighters Local 522 report. Oh, do I have somebody?
You're representing, yeah.
Very good.
Not really a report. I just want to introduce.
Well, welcome up. Come on
Yeah,
up.
coming
Yeah,
up. Caitlin Clark, shop steward, C shift, nothing to report, half of the local. So
All right.
anything for me?
Yeah, any questions?
Problem. Very nice to meet you, Director Jones. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Thank you. All right, we'll go to committee and delegate reports. Starting with the executive committee. So the executive committee met today. And as you heard, as far as the strategic plan, we're laying out a vision for bringing forward board goals through the executive committee for early feedback. And then once we have that process moving, we'll bring it to the board. So today we heard on goal number 3, so innovations and service delivery. And this is going to be a key focus for us as we move the strategic planning efforts forward. And clearly, as we've been hearing in the past couple of meetings, there's a lot of passion around the services we deliver and how we organize that work. And so I want to thank staff for putting together a great framework for the executive committee to think through with some questions for us to consider between now and our next executive committee meeting. So it was really an opportunity just to introduce what we're looking at, talk about where we are today and how we move forward. And clearly the industry is going to be changing. So therefore we need to change to serve our community. So in the next 30 days, there'll be an opportunity to kind of talk through that a little bit more. They'll come back with some more questions and seeking some further direction from the executive committee as we move that process forward. The one thing I will ask is that this is going to be key for this organization. And as we talk about finances moving forward and budget, it's going to be very important that we align around how we're going to deliver. So we're going to really need input and feedback. And I'd just like to ask that those subject matter experts in the organization, please participate and provide us your feedback. Because again, the only way for us to make good decisions is to have good information. So that's my report for the executive committee. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you. We'll go to Finance and Audit Committee. Director Jones.
Yes, the Finance and Audit Committee has our next meeting, August 27th, 5:30 in these chambers. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Policy Committee, Director Clark.
Yes, sir. Policy Committee met today at 5:30 regarding policy 127.01 regarding anonymity and confidentiality policy, and basically the meeting was to provide direction on the policy committee's role in the review and approval process for archiving board policies. And we're going to have a conversation as to what procedures we might, what direction we want to take on regarding archiving policies. So the next meeting will be September 10th at right at 5:30.
Very good. Any questions for the Policy Committee?
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Director. That brings us to board member questions and comments. Director Jones.
Thank you. Two things, one big, one small, but they're both very important. At our previous meeting, I neglected to call out, to do a good shout out to our CERT team. They participated in and helped support the Great American Triathlon, which is the successor to Epi's Great Race that I'm sure most folks here recognize that name. They always show up with first aid and support for that event and for all the participants. And I just wanted to shout out to the CERT team. Thank you so much. Everyone, especially on the committee for the triathlon committee, greatly appreciates all their continued support and positive efforts. And the second one's a little bit larger, but I'm glad that we're looking at, this is to Jeff Fry and his team and everybody. I'm glad we're looking at service delivery, because one of the things that stood out to me in that report was that it's ever expanding. The service delivery that we need to give is ever expanding. And the fire service, in my many decades, we are always trying to respond. We're always a little bit behind because the new events come up and then we have to address it. And I'm glad we're getting closer and closer to the time horizon where we are there when these changes happen. And that's very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Director Clark.
Yes. I just want to thank the staff on their the work. It's a bunch of work that they did on the regarding the strategic plan. And that's basically all I have.
All right. Thank you, Director. Director Stark.
I have no comment. No comment today.
All right. Thank you, Director. Director Wood.
Thank you. And the words of Director Rice, I'm contained.
Thank you. Director Weber.
Yes. So as the board may or may not be aware, we have negotiations on the 19th. I have directed Chief Wagaman to work with CFO O'Toole to make sure we're prepared for that meeting. You two will have a conversation, and just want to make sure the board was aware that we do have negotiations coming up. So other than that, that is it.
All right. Thank you. And then for myself, I just want to first thank staff for the strategic plan. They've been putting a lot of time and effort into it, really trying to capture what the board's intent was. And also our other partners to really develop a great framework and product for this board to act on and for this organization to move forward. So thank you. But our work is not done. We've got some goals that we need to do. And clearly we've got a lot going on. So we want to just ask that we continue to lean in and help the staff where they need it. And then I just want to highlight National Night Out was fantastic. This organization showed up well in the community and did a lot of great work. So thank you for doing that. And with that, we'll go ahead and close for closed session. All right, we're back from closed session. Council, will you report out, please?
And with its designated labor negotiator for the bargaining groups identified in the agenda, no reportable action was taken.
All right, thank you, council. With that, our next meeting is scheduled for August 27th. Meeting adjourned.